3, 2, 1.
Alright, good evening everyone, how's it going? I am Zinfogel, and I have the dubious honor of speedrunning the only PSP title in this marathon, so hey, I'm excited. Alright. Let me know if anything is wrong so we can catch it, but I am about ready to get started here. Okay, let's go. So, in this game, we got a couple difficulty settings. We got basic mode and advanced mode. Basic mode is the ideal for speedrunning, not only because the enemies are easier, but they have less HP. Advanced just inflates stats, so it's not as strategically important. So that's why we stick with this category. I'm going to start the run in 3, 2, 1, go! Alright. Gungnir for a PSP. So, you know Final Fantasy Tactics, right? This game is literally that game. We have a lot of the same concepts. It's a strategy RPG developed by the Department Heaven development team. This is the same dev team that made some cool classics like Riviera, The Promised Land, Igla Union. In this game, we got some common practices for strategy RPGs. We can employ melee units, magical units, we can employ ranged units. And as we start the game, we have the protagonist here, Giulio, accompanied by 3 mourners who are up there on the cliff, Noah, Cloud, and Teresa, respectively. For now, they are controlled by the AI. And there is not a whole lot I can do to influence their actions other than hoping that they will be competent. And oh wow, turns out they were competent. So here we go, a really nice start to the battle where my partners were able to destroy a couple enemies. So, like I said, we have very similar concepts to other strategy RPGs. All units can guard if they have a weapon equipped. And depending on which tile I target them from, I can get some improved accuracy, so it's important that you target enemies from the back if you are using melee damage. But this game also has a few more additions, maybe you can tell because of how cluttered the AI is. Not the AI, the UI. There is a lot to see, but ignore everything, just focus on the dude I am controlling as they move around the field, it's great fun. But for the most part, notice that I have on the left side of the screen a meter called Tactics. Tactics points are a currency of this game so that you can perform actions. And the more Tactics points you have, the more advanced things you can do. For example, here I can attempt to call a scramble by halting the clock. So besides the fact this is a strategy RPG, it's also turn-based, so notice on the bottom right that I got a turn order for all my units, including my guests who is acting around and whatever. So I can influence it with my tactics points that will be more relevant later on, but for this particular map I don't really have a reason to do it, because tactics points also influence your damage. In this game there is something called tactics power, which is totally influenced by how many tactics points I gather around the field. And the only way tactics points are generated is by walking around. Each unit can generate tactics points whenever they want. So I'm not really hoping for my partners to help me on this map to kill the boss. There's only one nerd left to destroy and then we can move on. Because for whatever reason the AI really likes grabbing items. It's just a thing they do. I mean, I appreciate it for some extra cash so we can sell that later. But it's not helping me advance the battle quickly, and we want to go fast. It's a speedrun, alright? But yeah, one more strike from our boy Giulio, and we have ended the map here. So, the overarching plot of Gungnir is that we got our boy Giulio, who lives on Esperanza, at the east of the continent. So we live on the continent of Gargania. It's divided by a vast canyon, and all the wealthy people live on the west, the poor people live on the east, slums, things like that. They don't fare well in life. And right now, the east, where we are starting the game, is starting an uproar because they don't want to be dragged around by the wealthy. So we're just starting a revolution, you know, classic RPG stuff. But now Teresa joins the ranks, I can control her. This is more or less a training map. We got the Esperanza rank members just hanging out. So here we have another concept. Gungnir is a glorified capture the flag game. And whenever you capture flags, you can increase your tactics points meter by a couple on its maximum. So here I am doing it more so to manipulate Noah to move into that tile so that he's a little easier to strike because the AI, besides loving to grab item bags, it also enjoys stealing or capturing flags from the enemy. We also got a couple friendly AI units, but they are not relevant. Ooh, that guard is not good. Noah here has about a 3% guard rate, so seeing a guard at all is kind of legendary. Annoying if anything, but it doesn't matter because I want Teresa to also attack as much as possible because I am training a skill for her, Abyssal Edge. And that skill is important for us because it has the ability to knock back. It can push an opposing unit with into another tile, and this is very tactically important for this game because you can push enemies off the edges to insta-kill them, you can push them into a river to drown them, just all sorts of violent things that you should not be able to do. But we cannot use the new found skill on the next map we do. So now we're just hanging out at the slums, just getting ready for war, but we find that suddenly we get invaded by the Western forces. They did a preemptive assault trying to find a lost girl, which we happen to find. Her name is Elisa. Just remember that a lot of bad things happen because we decided to hang out with her otherwise, but she's cute, I like her. And here we have a critical decision point. We can decide to let Alisa go, turn herself in, or stop her from doing so and, you know, protect her because we are good people. But we actually want her to be on the map so that she can work as a bit of a bait for the enemies. Because that's about as much as I can do with my early game strats. But now we have full command over the scrubs. And we can see how the game is actually supposed to behave now that we are done with the tutorials. So first, I'm gonna have Teresa grab a few flags so that I can build up my tactics points to perform better actions. And I'm going to move Julia up here on this bridge so that if this guy drops down the lake, it's kind of weird. He just wants to go to Alisa as soon as possible, and that's the best way I can manipulate that scenario. And I'm gonna move Teresa a little bit closer to keep building more tactics points. And now that the sorceress is soon approaching me, she will be easy to take out with my other units. So here, I'm going to perform a boost and a beat. Cloud is holding an accessory that has a boosting action, and this can increase my damage. And notice how my other characters are sort of reverberating their damage into the witch, a sorceress. That is a beat. A beat happens when you are on the same axis as an enemy and you use a skill that can initiate a beat. And you can have a little bit of an extra addition to damage at the cost of a couple tactics points, which is a nice tool to have. And here, hopefully we can go through the guard. We did not, that's fine. It's a little annoying because now Alisa's she's not going to move off. Oh wow, that's very nice of her. Okay, let's try that one again. 15% guard rate, let's go. So, thanks to the push, I managed to knock off this tamer off the edge of the map, and we don't have to deal with dealing damage to that tamer at all, so that is great. Now we gotta get rid of this thrower as well. In this map, it's a routing map, we have to kill every enemy unit. For the most part, all of the maps are Boskill, so you only have to focus on the boss and that ends, that is the only finishing condition. But there is other maps where you maybe have to rescue a unit or you have to destroy everything in your path. And that's going to work out better for us. So let's try and see if we can push this timer off the edge. But we are facing her from up front, which can be a little tough for pushing. And now I am going to perform a scramble so that I can start moving faster before my next turn is queued up. So that would pretty much drain all my tactics points, but it doesn't matter because we're about to end the map anyway. And now we can push this guy off and insta-kill him too. No need to deal more than 700 damage. I would say the PSP has more strategy RPGs for some reason. I think they just wanted to do a more portable experience with the shorter maps. This game is not good for that though, because each map takes maybe 1 hour to do. Alright, now I'm going to take off Julius' equipment because, spoiler alert, I cannot win this map under any circumstances. So what I'm going to do is help the enemies destroy Julia. My quote-unquote winning condition here is killing my ace, which is the boss on my side of the field. I assigned Julia to be my ace. So maybe if we get lucky here, I can attempt to push Julia off the edge of the map, which I can do perfect. I need to get lucky for this. I want the knight over there to give me good positions and whatnot, so I can make that happen, but we don't need to do any advance here, just to have Julia approach the edge of the map and he will meet a similar fate to the enemies that we saw on the previous. Knockback is a really cheesy strategy, and bosses are specifically set up to not be afflicted by knockback more often than not. To avoid these sort of scenarios where you can insta-kill enemies if you have the correct territory advantage. Alright, and because I took off Julio's weapons, he has no guard range, so no RNG for this, and he's off the map, and we can continue. So now we got destroyed by the enemy forces, and now all my friends and loved ones are dead by the third scene of the game. Gungnir wastes no time taking everything away from the player. So my friends Noah, Cloud, and Teresa are gone. They are dead forever, and it's not like there's a washout where you can rescue their souls or maybe attempt to save them. They die. They are gone. So now it's just Julio, and during a cutscene that I skipped, there was a magical spear that flew from the sky and gave us a fighting chance, and it's calling for Julio. This spear, my friends, is the titular Gungnir. It's a demon spear that can summon, you guys it, demons, and we'll see what happens when I get there. I think Gungnir is the last title developed by Sting, which is unfortunate because the games are so good. At least if you enjoy this specific brand of video game, but here we go. This is what Gungnir does. It just summons eldritch abominations to do my bidding on the battlefield, and you're going to see how destructive they can be. Boop. Hitting all of the enemies, and now we just have to get rid of the boss so we can continue. Also, Elise is helping us out. Hi, Elise. Now we're playing at an 8% guard rate here. Hopefully the game cooperates. Perfect, nice. Maybe. It's dubious. We're just doing what we think is right. I told you, there are some things about Final Fantasy Tactics here. We got some deep plot going on. I am very much simplifying the character development, but now our boy Einherjar is making a formal introduction. He's the primary war god we can employ, and the Gungnir can summon things whenever I want. I can summon once per battle, and from now on I'm going to be making backup saves in case I do something terrible with the menuing. Hopefully that won't happen, but you never know with this game. Okay, now I'm going to strip everybody naked because I want money. That sounds not very right out of context. And get a few whips, and now start recruiting generics because I can do that now. So first I'm going to recruit an assassin, Fravella, very squishy. And I'm also going to recruit a Tamer. So, common practice I do when recruiting generics is recruiting people who move a lot at very little delay, which means that I can perform my next turn faster. and that also generate a lot of tactics points as they move, so that I can fill up my tactics bar very quickly and also help me deal more damage. Also, these critical choices are going to affect the ending of the game. They matter, so you actually have to pay attention to what I am selecting. There's only one choice that affects a map, and that was the one we used did a couple of scenes ago. Okay, but now I'm going to put Ragnus as the ace. Ragnus is my brother, adopted brother, and now I'm going to set up the rope on the Tamer. Julia, at least with a bow, because she can use this, and Paolo. So here are Julia's new best friends, mostly related to them, who were away doing the Slum invasion. But they are also very competent in combat, so it's not like we're going to miss the first batch of friends. It's going to be fine. So, for this map, what I'm going to do is move around a whole lot capturing flags, because Ragnarok, the summon skill, is based off of how many tactics points I have. I need at least 10 tactics points minimum so I can even attempt a Ragnarok, and the more I have, the more damage I will deal to the enemies. So I'm just going to run around collecting flags to increase my damage once the summon happens. For the most part, to ignore enemies, because on basic mode they are not going to do much. Enemy damage is usually never a concern on this difficulty setting. There's a couple of spots that could get alright, but don't need to worry. Okay, so now who is ready for the Ragnarok Spell Roulette? On the top right of the map, of the screen, sorry, you can see the enemies I am targeting, and wow, we got the Ragnarok on second try. That is really lucky, because this map is notorious for being very tough to work with for Ragnarok RNG. So, even though I can summon War Gods, it doesn't mean that they want to help me. Sometimes they will also help the enemy and target my own units, and it's random whether they choose to target the enemies or my dudes. But I can influence the Ragnarok targeting by overclocking. Overclocking happens when I sit on the battlefield and just let my turn sequence just go by one and so on, so that I can reroll the Ragnarok RNG and see what else I heard her feels like doing. And I just roll around for the one Ragnarok that is going to hit the boss. If it's going to hit my own units, then so be it. But sometimes I prefer it if I don't get hit by them. Here, with the boss Weekend, we can snipe him with a long-range attack. Plus a bit for some extra damage. And Paolo, our boy, is a spellcaster. I queued up a spell before the Ragnarok, as the Ragnarok was happening, so that I can snipe the boss and finish him off that way. And the only condition for this map is beating the boss, so now we are allowed to move on. Sounds good. We got a bad drop from that one. Whenever I win a map, I have a random chance of getting one of the equipment pieces the boss is holding, and usually I prefer weapons so that I can build my funds, because I sell for a lot. Here, okay, we're going to recruit a knight now. He won't see use until very late in the round, but this is the only spot where I can get one, and also get some more gear. I want Wilgris for speed boosting, Kaiser Knuckle for a new boosting action, and yeah, we can go on to the next map. So, for a while, the overarching plot here is we are moving out to destroy the West. Because the Esperanza forces are gathering recruits, we are getting stronger and stronger by the day. And the West is trying to stop us because we're actually a threat to them. So now I'm going to have Ragnus ace again. The reason I do this is because it gives me delay reductions for my Tanner. Depending on the unit that is ace in the map, your generics are going to maybe act faster depending on the, who is acing. And Ragnus happens to give me faster actions with Tammers, so you're going to see that she moves around like crazy. Here we're just going to sit around a little bit, grab some flags, and once the enemy units start moving off the way, and then it's a little safer to approach the boss, we can initiate the Boskill. Ignore this screen about the damage, it's irrelevant, it just wastes time. But they also fix on the turn sequence, so sometimes they are unavoidable. Part of my speed take is sometimes avoiding their results screen if I can help it, but that largely depends on my battle performance. Okay, here, move Ragnus a little closer, scramble for more actions, and we're going to Tandem Hold. Tandem Hold is a tech that whip users can employ with a rope, and that allows you to capture an enemy unit and prevent them from acting altogether. So now that this harpy here won't be able to mess up my units with poison skills and whatnot. So this is Boskill Rodriguez. He has a penchant for Julio because, I don't know, Julio's father had Rodriguez's son killed or something. I'm telling you, the plot for this game is very dark, but I am glazing over the details. Okay, but thanks to the positions I set up preemptively with my characters, we have some really nice beats that we can perform here. Julio in particular is excellent for beating because the Gungnir has very high base power. So, and for the most part, the Gungnir also cannot initiate the beats itself, so it's usually there to help out instead of dealing the bulk of the damage. And there we go. Use 3 attacks, and that gets rid of the boss. There was also a drift mechanic on that map because of the river. Randomly, your units can get pushed around due to the current, and it usually doesn't matter because I also manipulate that. Okay, now a big shop here. I'm just going to get rid of all my equipment. We didn't get lucky with the drops, unfortunately. We had one weapon drop, but I'm not sure if that's going to cover everything we need. Okay, now use gear up with some weapons. Can I please select properly? Boskill and some more equipment to increase my movement. And we can go. Alright, Alisa is feeling bad about having come from the west. Like, she's just now seeing how bad things are on the east. So usually these critical decisions are about pleasing Alisa. Okay. As usual, Ace with Ragnus, so we can get delay reductions on the timer. But I want my timer to be fashionable, please. Amazon Boots, perfect. Okay, we want Julio with the Willy Greaves too, to increase his movement, and Elise with the better bow, with bow. The bow I am using actually matters, because there is a sweet spot for range attacks in this game. Let's say, for example, that I am 5 tiles away from the enemy when using a ranged weapon, then I am going to have a 25 penalty to my accuracy. But if I were 4 tiles away from the enemy, I have a perfect accuracy with the weapon I am employing. So different bows have different techs that influence that sweet spot, and the Ghost Bow is just giving me another option in case I need it for this map. Now, this is a routing map. We will have to destroy everything in the field, and there is quite a bit of enemies we need to slay here. But fortunately, the War Gods are on our side, and we're going to go play Capture the Flag a little bit to strengthen Ragnarok and pick off the leftovers. Another condition here is rescuing this orange-haired lady here, called Valerie. Valerie is the leader of the Republic faction, something. And these guys are rebels from the opposing field. Okay, we're going to roll with this. Even though it's hitting a couple of my units, it doesn't matter, because if they die, it won't affect the overarching battle strategy. I mean, they shouldn't die because I can perform the quick kill. It's missing the pseudo boss, however, the enemy with the most HP on the battlefield, which is unfortunate because I would really like it if they got damage. But Valerie is AI, I cannot control her. I'm just gonna have Hildegard, the Tamer, move back and forth to build up some tactics points, because the Gungnir is notorious for needing tactics points for damage. Like, pretty much 70% of its damage is based off of tactics points, so it's a very good idea to go collect some before attacking with it. There is also a couple fairies on the map, but we don't have to do anything about them. If you let them leave, they give you an item at the end of battle, which I actually wanted for refinement purposes. But now it's time for Yuli to go on a rampage, because he has an excellent AoE tech, and most of the enemies here are on range to die to a single Gungnir strike post Ragnarok. And we just get more bang for our buck if we have a Giolio attack, because he's also hitting multiple units at once. And we also got the ideal enemy movement here. I have 3 enemies lined on the exact AoE range for a Gungnir strike, so let's see how that goes. Everything can get ruined by some guard rates. Hopefully nothing bad will happen. Okay, no guards. Awesome. 3 bears with 1 stone. But now we have to take care of the boss, and I am not sure how I'm going to do that. I don't like attacking this guy with Giulia specifically, because it takes a while to kill, but I don't think I have a choice. I will just have Giulio. Massacre. Chip at the paladin little by little. If I had a perfect Ragnarok that hit every enemy unit, this wouldn't be a problem. I could kill the enemy Ace on a couple Gungnir strikes, maybe. Okay. And we have maximum tactics points, so this is the most damage we can get off of a Gungnir. Let's see. I think it's about halfway through my tactics points. He's not acting soon. I fear that I have to scramble before the enemy unit, and that would mean spending my tactics points, which also lower the damage output of the Gungnir. This game is tough, for sure, for sure. I heard plenty of times that people had to redo their playthroughs because they didn't get the mechanics of the game and they wanted to start over with like proper knowledge. So it's not. It's a challenge for sure. If you are a fan of the strategy RPG genre, this game is fantastic. Okay, now we're going to play with Paulo. He's an alchemist and he can improve weapons for us. But first I need to get gems so that he can infuse these on weapons. I'm missing something. Okay, we're going to boost Elise's Ghost Bow because I depend on range damage to initiate bits. And +6 is very good. Okay. Now, the girl we rescued on the previous map has joined the party, and she asked us to go free her comrades of a prison, which we just so happened to go there because we wanted more recruits, so what better to join a rebellion than criminals? And we're here to liberate everybody, pretty much. And Valerie is forced as an ace on this map, but it doesn't matter because she has the delays I'm looking for anyway. Okay, Julia here. Want this. Now it's time for Fravela to shine. Okay, potions. This is one of the more involved maps in the game, for sure. Well, first off, I'm going to do some weird things. First, I'm going to betray my unit immediately and strike them to soften them up for the enemy units. And I need to perform some very specific movement here so that I can... right here. I can manipulate the AI into doing dumb stuff instead of attacking me. Okay, that is just fine. So now my poor assassin has been weakened to the point where she will die to a gentle breeze, which is exactly what I am looking for. And we can start moving ahead here. So if you notice, whenever an enemy dies, they drop a sachet with an item. This applies for my units as well, so now the potion that I put up on the assassin just fell off on the field. And notice that the witch attempted to grab the item, but also I had another unit on its AoE range. So it's now sitting on top of the item, but it's not grabbing it, and just and just queued up an attack, and it's just going to sit on top of that item. And coming back to the first map of the game, remember that the AI loves grabbing sachets if it can. So what the enemies are going to do now is just surrounding the witch, attempting to grab the item. But because there is another unit on top of the item, they cannot grab it. So now they're just going to do nothing and sit around the enemy witch, just trying to grab something that they cannot get because the witch is on top of it. This is really good. It's hitting one of my units, but we can roll with this Ragnarok. So Bacchus, the boss, he's the god with black hair on the top left here. He's very far away and he's not going to move unless I am on his aggro range or I hit him with an attack. So I am going to go for the ladder method and use Ragnarok to strike him. And also sub out Hildegard with Ragnus, so to avoid the Ragnarok damage from hitting me. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this cinematic because we'll be seeing it a lot until I find better means of dealing damage, but for now Ragnar, my boy Ankarkar is my friend and he can help us out. Okay, so I need to do two things on this map. Besides killing the boss, I also need to kill this little archer hanging out here. And I don't mean make him retreat, I mean literally destroy him and take the life out of him. And for that I have to perform an overkill, so I need to deal an absurd amount of damage to guarantee that. We're talking about 650 damage just to make it happen with some consistency. And the reason for that is that the difference between perishing and retreating is that if you perish, you can loot a corpse and take any item you want off of them. And there is a specific set of equipment piece that I desire from the archer that would not be guaranteed unless I went for an overkill. And I might as well do this because I gotta wait for Bacchus to come down here. So 650, right around the dot. Poor archer, dude. There he goes. And now Bacchus is moving in ever so closer. Now I need to make sure that there is a unit on the AoE range of the witch so that I can keep abusing the AI manipulation of the enemies never doing anything but surrounding the item bag. So this is what I am looking for. It's an accessory that increases my accuracy, which will help me bypass some of the accuracy penalties. But now, just move around here. Usually I would move Giulio closer to the enemies, but he's going to get hit by them if I do so. But with the witch manipulation, I can save my units from some damage for the time being. Okay. That's about fine. I want Giulio to move closer to Bacchus so that I can perform beats even across the abyss, but hey. Also, fun fact, if you knock back a unit into the abyss, they insta-die. But fortunately, I don't think any of the enemy units can do that. They better don't. I think the brutes have a tech that can push enemies, but the one I am worried about is not close enough to Giulio to pose a threat. Oh wow, we got the 2-hit kill. That is rare. Usually I need 3 ghost bow attacks to clear that. But yeah, I'm glad that we got through this map as well as we did, because it's difficult and a single misstep on the setup ruins all the AI manipulation I am forcing. Okay. We're going to buy brooms now. And with this, also recruit a witch. So witches are pretty much the best unit in this game. They are spellcasters, utility spellcasters who can lay down traps on the field. They can do some basic magic spells. But more importantly, they also have the ability to fly. If they have a broom equipped, they can use it to bypass any hide and just go all over the battlefield, which is going to prove a very useful skill on this next map. We are here on Victory on Stronghold. We go to this map fairly often, so we'll see it a couple more times on the run, I think. With more difficult challenges as it goes, of course, but we go here a lot. Okay, first I want the brand new witch to equip broom for flight, and Julio. At least with the accessory I brutally murder someone for. And the rest doesn't matter too much. So something is going to carry the weight of this map here. I still need to cast Ragnarok, so to capture the flag we go. But notice here, we're just casually climbing the wall of the fortress, you know. No biggie. That's it for the flag collection. Just one more and we're ready to launch Ragnarok at the boss. That's not hitting what I want. Okay, Einherjar was treating me very kindly so far, but I think he's going to pick up the RNG now. I can tell who Ragnarok is targeting exactly due to the minimap. And I'm looking to hit the boss and avoid Julia and Elise if I can help it, but sometimes we just have to take about Ragnarok, it can be helped. That means advancing the map quicker, but I'm trying to be greedy here. It looks like I'm rolling the same Ragnarok, but it's just getting weird. Come on. Okay, I think I'll take a timeout. This is what's gonna happen. I'm not a fan of that one, okay. This is one more. I have to take this. I call this a timeout because it's hitting every unit on the field. But Einherjar is not feeling good with me on this map, so I'll just have to take it and see how I handle it. So funny story about me routing this game, because yes, it is an obscure title. I think I played this after watching the HC Bailey his Let's Play, because it looked real nice, it was a fun game. And I finished routing this on March this year. I referenced JRTA. Unfortunately, I will be unable to pronounce the name of the person who did it, but you can find the link to that RTA if you just search Gungnir RTA on Nico or something like that. But yeah, I used that RTA was 3 hours and 20 minutes, and due to the category and optimizations I made, I caught like an hour and a half of the run. So I think it's a really good speedrun because there is little RNG. All the generics are consistent, like you get consistent stats. There is no major dumb garbage that you need to do to get through the game. Okay. Alright, we should be good now. And so the thing about Einherjar is that he's also a very strong boy, and damages him. Besides damaging units, he also stuns them, and that means that you have to wait out if it hits your own units. Nice, okay. I think the Cloudera UI is a consequence of the devs wanting to be fair and show you literally everything you could possibly need to know to complete maps. Where is my boy? Oh, he moved around. Don't do that. I need to destroy you. And then I can kill him though. Okay, I'm not sure if I can target the boss from below the arch. I probably can't, because the trajectory of the arrow gets blocked by the arch. But if I could... it doesn't matter, I don't get perfect accuracy anyway. No, I need to do that. Alright, usually I destroy Pierre before he moves around, so I'm not too positive on the backup. But we're playing at a 5% chance of missing the arrow. Thankfully it didn't happen. I've seen that 5% happen so much. I tried to get rid of it, but I cannot get a better accessory to totally erase the accuracy issues that Elise has. Okay, destroy Pierre because I really don't like this guy. I need to see Pierre perish whenever I run this game, because he's a real mean character. He pretty much sets all of the resentment in Julio into motion through his actions alone. He's a jerk. Anyway. The speedrun is barely random. I mean, at least for strategy RPG standards, I think it's extremely consistent. You have a consistent turn order, you have consistent recruitments, which are some of the biggest grievances with that genre. But there is some RNG with the Ragnarok targeting, and there's a couple maps that are particularly problematic that could force you to lose a minute if you get unlucky. But besides that, it's real solid. If you have any questions about the battle system, please don't feel free to shoot them, because I know that the AI here the UI here is not doing anyone any favors to explain what's going on. Okay, I'm going to cap out something. Is cap equipment and set up a couple Art of Wars that I use both. Okay, for this map I am performing a strat that I discovered just last night. Ideally, we save 20 seconds because of this. But for this map, the boss is fairly far away. It's I cannot really realistically approach my units, so we're going to have the witch take care of the bulk here. I am scrambling to get a few more actions before one of the units attacks. So here, hopefully we get a sweet wave from the witch. Perfect. Because I'm gonna have the witch target its own unit later on. And I'm going to lay down a trap. Here we go. Okay, move a tiny bit further away and have... And now use an Art of War. When you consume this, you get 10 tactics points, so I am capping out my tactics so I can deal more damage with this little thing, a trap. And get us started with the Boskill. Our Garsoffin is going to deal damage here. And so notice that besides falling for the trap, the boss is also going to get damaged by its own unit, because earlier I queued up this sweet wave intentionally so that it moved, the boss moved on the range of that attack. And usually the AI is much better at handling these things. It tries its best to not get damaged by random garbage like that and do the best thing in its possibilities. Like, I am making the AI look very incompetent, honestly, but the reason it works is because it's so consistent that I can expect it to do the things I want it to. But anyway, the reason the AI is falling for those attacks, even though we could avoid them, is because my unit here is very low on HP. If you barely graze at the bottom left of the screen when I hover over something, I have 27 HP. And the reason it went this low is because in this game there is a capacity limit. Not because my units are fat, but you can only equip so many items at a time, and the different weapons and armors have a certain capacity to it, and you know it. You cannot really equip everything you want to. And the game penalizes you for this if you over-equip things and then start acting quickly, because you can select any unit you want, but if you have a lot of equipment weight, then if you take actions quickly, you are going to get a penalty to your maximum HP. And I specifically set up my witch so that she had a ton of equipment weight, and so that it would intentionally lower her HP and manipulate the enemy into attacking her, because it's like a very easy kill. Why not go for it, you know? Except that I use it to make the enemy fall into the trap and also get targeted by its friendly fire. So very cheesy Boskill there, and no Ragnarok RNG to deal with either. Previously that was a Ragnarok map, so I'm glad that got out. Okay, for this map we want a Paulo to ace, so we can get delay reductions on the witch and bring her over, obviously. With a new broom, I just got for her. Hildegard for flags, and Julio for the good old Ragnarok. Okay. I want Paulo here. Now we are the Gargania Shield. I forget the exact name of this map, but the game makes a huge deal out of this choke point because it's like a huge defensive point for the Western forces. And if you play this game casually, this map is going to annihilate you because of this thing. It's a rail cannon. It deals a massive AoE damage, 25% of your max HP, and it also inflicts the burn status, which is effectively the same thing as poison. You just get damage over time. So people get annihilated because of the cannons. Yeah, I can see some people in chat have had bad experiences with it. I think we can just go with the Ragnarok, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put you a little closer for some beats. So that's not gonna work out. I want to avoid Elise. I need to avoid Elise and the witch. I heard her. Is that the boss? Oh, we can roll with this. Nice. If you drop this game, I highly encourage you take it back, because there is... I know this sounds cliche, but there is so much replayability to the battle system. Like, the speedrun doesn't even scratch the surface of how many strategies you can use, because you have about 14 generic units that you can manipulate, each with their own perks. And pretty much every generic you can use is functional. Like, it's not like some games where you have OP unit and then you destroy the game. Even the storyline characters have flaws to them that don't make them necessarily superior to generics. Okay. Just gonna chop off some of the boss's HP. My good boy, I heard her. And now start a Boskill with Elise. So I set up Giulio for a bit, but the archer did not get stunned, so that means that he cannot partake in the bid because there is a unit on the way. You need to have a totally clear path to the enemy you are targeting so that you can perform a bit. But it should not be necessary, it's just nice to have Giulio attack. Oh dude, Knights in the Nightmare is one of the most confusing games I ever played. It's like if Toho met an RPG. But it's unique in that regard. Okay. Got him! That's the first part of the map though. Now the big boss, the commander of the Western forces, Robertus, is going to spunk us so soundly that we will be forced to retreat. So spoiler alert, this is an unbeatable map. My apologies for spoiling the plot. Okay. I'm going to employ the knight I recruited ages ago, so that I can knock back Ragnus off the stage. I bought a weapon that has knockback unlocked from the get-go. So even if I attempted to kill the enemies, it wouldn't work out because, well, more reinforcements would come. They are basically endless. And Robertus is holding an accessory called an Eventrion, and, well, if the name is any indication, it's for events only. And it makes him revive automatically when he dies with max health. And it's also impossible to break or steal, so Robertus is very strong. With Ragnus' Slade, we can retreat, assess the situation. Also, he leaves Esperanza. Now it's just Julio on his own. So much for family, huh? Okay, getting a few more items here. One for another boost in action, and the Intelli Ribbon, a very important piece of equipment for the speedrun, because it adds a couple more tactics points when you move. And usually I set up my units to move 5 tiles at a time, so whenever I move I can generate 5 tactics points, which is insane for the standards of this game. Okay, and now the game starts an annoying habit of crippling our forces by giving us very few units to work with. So for this map I only have 3 units. And the winning condition is retreating or killing the boss. Now, retreating will be pretty simple, but the problem is that my girl Alisa also has to escape because she's still with us for some reason. And the problem with Alisa is that she's slow. Really slow. She moves 4 tiles at a time, and she takes like 30 ticks to move every time. She's just going to take forever if she wants to retreat on her own. So I'm just going to perform the Boskill anyway because it's faster. Okay. There's a little scramble here to get some more actions. But yeah, notice how every time I move I just feel my tactics powered like crazy. It allows me to rack up damage quicker, let me scramble more, things like that. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out so I can get a better view of the enemies. And here I am looking to strike the boss. That's pretty good. This map is very friendly Ragnarok-wise, because we have so many units on our side. Einherjar takes pity on us and lets us get a summon quick. Okay. Now going to cast Spell at the boss preemptively. Also, notice the assassins are doing nothing. The enemies here are basically on a peace treaty. They are not going to do anything unless I initiate harm. Is that a good word to use? Probably not. But yeah, once I touch any one of them, they start growing. I'm moving out, so the greatest issue with this map is that the boss is holding an elixir and he will not hesitate to use it if there is one of my units on range. So I have to snipe him or just be real cautious with my movement to prevent the elixir from happening, or he will just recover all of the damage I dealt through Ragnarok. And by that point I'm better off just restarting the map. Okay, let's see. 5% chance of missing. Can we get it, boys? Ah! I was being sarcastic. Classic Gungnir. Okay, I'm just going to wait for Wallace to act. Wallace is boss. Because I don't want to get messed up here. Okay, let's wait for the witch to act again so that I can have her help with the beat. I mean, I'm not surprised. I had a 5% miss before, so I'm thinking this game has like Fire Emblem RNG where the numbers are not truly what are displayed. Because I swear that happens much more often than it should. Why are you not helping? Is it because there's a paladin below you? Are you kidding me? How far off are you? Who is attacking me? The gunners are. Can I stank that out? No. Okay, we're just going to have Elise try and kill this guy. It's going to be great. So Elise, it's not that hard. You can do it. I believe in you. Okay, Wallace is just about to act, so I needed to kill him soon before he can elixir. Come on, baby. 5%. Alright. I'm sweating bullets here. The real boss of this map is the elixir, like... that happens, it's over. But we're through. Now, we're escaping, because Western forces are just picking up our trail, and we're just gonna handle them. Going to buy some accessories for refinement. I barely have money, wow. Let's see. It's time for a retreat. We're just going back to our home. See what happens then. And this map here is probably my favorite map in the game. Very short, and from a routing standpoint, I think this is what I salvaged the most from the JP route. Because it's the most unique Estrada I got to offer, to be honest. I'm using Elise as an ace, which is unheard of on any other map in the game. And I also get to use a gunner for damage, which also doesn't happen outside of this map. But the reason I am doing this is because the boss here is Isabelle, and she's a mage. She's very squishy to physical damage. So we could attempt a Ragnarok, which wouldn't be a bad idea, to be honest. Did I do everything I had to do? Oh no, I gotta grab this flag. That felt awkward and just... Okay, perfect, we got a good movement too. So I'm going to move Julio a tiny bit closer so we can do some beats with the Gungnir and have the Gunner take it over. Just avoid a couple spell casts right at the nick of time as the enemies are targeting me. This is why spells are a double-edged sword. They are very strong and have a fantastic effect so that they have a cast time and you can avoid them if you get cheeky with the turn order. In this map we're also facing golems. Golems are tricky units because they have a ton of HP and can destroy your equipment at random. But you can also step on them and prevent them from acting altogether. The golem is this rock my gunner is standing on right now. So I can prevent it from acting if I just sit tight. There's a few more bits from the gunner and we can put Isabelle on killing range. The trees on the foreground are also really annoying to look at, but I memorized the tiles I had to target, so... Trust me, exciting things are happening behind them. Okay. We have to let Elise take the honors so we can perform 2 beats instead of 1. Guarantee the knockout that way. So if I get lucky, hopefully I get a drop from Isabelle called the Kronos. And... nope. It would help a little bit, but it's not necessary for the speedrun, so... whatever. Okay, on this map, we're going to buy a Sun Cloak. This immunizes the user from ice elemental damage, which is particularly important on the next scene because there is a mermaid enemy, an Undine, that can freeze your unit with its standard attack. So you want to avoid that by immunizing the user from ice elemental damage. But we just went through a cutscene map, nothing important happened there, just we grieving and seeing what we can do. So we just decide to go to the north, very, very far to the north, to meet with somebody that Alisa knows. Turns out that Alisa is the princess and the next in line of the Western forces, so that's why the enemies really want to get a hold of her, so they can, I don't know what they're going to do to her, probably awful things. But she wants to help us out because she's our friend. Friendship is good. Okay. Going to take off some equipment from Sofin, and she's not going to partake in this map, but my boy Reinhardt, Ragnus 2.0 will. Okay, I also want Hildegard with Gauntlet I just bought for a boosting action, and Julia is going to take off the Gungnir for once, so he can help with knockback. So here we have a routing map. We need to kill all the human characters. There is no need to get rid of the monster enemies, only we don't have to go after the humans, so call it fantastical racism, but it helps with the speedrun, so... First off, I'm going to put all my units away from the range of the mermaid to manipulate her going into that specific tile, and also target Alisa. And because of the Sun Cloak, she's immune to her attack, and she cannot get frozen by her spell. Next, I'm going to move Hildegard a little closer for another flag, and just keep racking enemies on top of me. I want them to get closer and closer so that I don't have to exert as much effort with the kills I'm about to perform. And you're going to see the fierce glitch of this game, because oh, you thought that this was just a clean strategy RPG. Oh no, we got something exciting to show you here. So for that I need enemies to move in very specific tiles, and this is where my AI manipulation is coming from. Okay, we're going to push this guy a little closer to the edge, get him a little comfier. Now... Okay, we didn't get too lucky with the enemy movement. That's unfortunate. The enemies we have a little randomly on this map. Sometimes they have like 30 ticks of delay for whatever reason. I don't know why that happens, but I just have to take corrective action if they get early turns. Alright. So notice that we have a crevice down there, and there is a couple of walls. What is going to happen if I push an enemy on top of those couple enemies and there is no space for the newfound unit to move into? Because there is two walls and there is two units in there. There is just no space for a unit to fall in that hole. Let's find out through the power of science. Boop. So that, my friends, is the knockback glitch. What happens is that the enemy wants to force the unit into moving in place, and somewhere in there, but it can't because it cannot push it sideways, so it just decides to push the enemies on top of each other and increase damage exponentially, to the point where they just die. So, conveniently, I also want to loot the corpse of the mermaid that I just destroyed out of existence. For a boosting action, and let's see. Okay. Now we're going to try and kill this trickster. Usually I would have the witch that move to the top there move a little closer, and that will make it easier to kill. She usually moves in front of the trickster here, so I can kill both the witch and the trickster at the same time. By the way, this trickster is called... there was a trickster called Cookie. I like her because her name is cute. Yeah, that glitch can happen accidentally on normal gameplay. You just have to be cautious about being on the small crevices. Poisoning Julia, not good, no bueno. Okay, now I have no idea what I'm going to do with that witch, but I need to figure it out. Where's she on the turn sequence? That's not ideal. Alright. We got a little unlucky on this map, unfortunately. The enemies are not cooperating with me. But what I can do... I also lost my chance to do a knockback kill. But we still have enough time for Giulio to destroy the witch. It's only going to take a couple attacks, because the Gungnir is just so strong. After boosting. I'm doing a little bit of a spaghetti here, because I don't face this scenario very often. My apologies. I know you want fries, but you get a spaghetti here. You are moving... You want to move a little closer, please. That should be good. This damage should be strong enough to force a stun on the witch. There we go. Not the cleanest map, but we hit the day, dawn. Usually I can finish the map before that happens, but it is what it is. Alright, we're halfway through the game. The next maps are going to get a lot faster because a new witch is going to join our ranks and she's just going to split the game in half. Okay. Here's another backup in case I mess up my shopping list. Because I can go forward but not back. This game doesn't have... has a linear story progression, so you cannot go back to previous areas. This is fine. We can say this and this and this. This. Okay. Also this. As you can tell, I need a lot of money right now. So we're going to get some great upgrades. Get some cute bunny ears. This for boosting and the salad. Yeah, nothing else. Which should be good. Alright, finally, after traversing through half the continent, we meet with Alisa's friend called Natalia. Natalia is her bodyguard, essentially, from the west. And they are saying, the king sucks. We are going to help you retake the west. So we're just going to regroup our forces and go try again killing them. It worked great at the first time, so I'm sure that nothing terrible is going to happen now. Anyway. I want a few more items because it sells different things. An Art of War for use. A charge box. Yeah, and the other guy. We also had to do some alchemy with our boy Paolo. This. Alright. Our boy Paolo sometimes doesn't feel like doing his job, so please, Paolo. Okay, Paolo. Okay. Okay, Paolo. That's fine. You can stop that now. Perfect. And that's all I need to do. As a fun fact, that there is a little girl in this game that sells that her shop is selling a single medicinal herb. I went over that for obvious reasons, but you can make that. You can make up that what you will. Now we're going to use Natalia. She's a recruit that just joined us on that good thing. And Natalia is unique for the fact that she can equip rapiers. Elise can also do that, but just now we have access to the really good rapiers. And the rapiers can bypass a little bit of guard rate. So this is especially helpful because they have AoE knockback. I can attempt to push several enemies at once with them, and on this map all the monsters are on the right side of the map and on the river, but all the human characters are on the left side of the map and very close to edges and rivers, so this is going to be fun. Let's see. We want this closer. This should be... No, this is not fine. We have to rescue this girl here. I almost lost my chance. My bad. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of cheating. You have integrated save states in this game. You can retry a map whenever you want. I lost my manipulation because I didn't move Julio properly, so... for the most part, you are better off just restarting maps if you didn't net the AI manipulation. I'm telling you, this game is very consistent, and you can usually expect enemies to do what you want them to do, but if you mess up the battle strategy, the whole map crumbles. Alright, Julia, with effort this time, rescue the lady. Pretty much. Alright, now that I rescue the lady, she can die for all I care. She just retreats if she falls in battle now. But now I can focus on the boss, on killing the nurse, which is what I want. That's fine. Okay, so I want Julia and Natalia to be on these tiles, so... there we go. We have the sorceresses move into the edges of the map. Perfect, just like that. And we can have Natalia take over from here. So one boop at a time. Boop! Okay, close to the edge. Just like that, buddy. Nothing terrible will happen to you, I promise. Just close your eyes and follow the light. Man, I love this map. It really displays how easy it is to cheese if you know the game mechanics well. Cheese. I'll use a couple more. Remember that slaying monster units is not necessary for a routing objective. So I can ignore whatever craziness is happening on the right side here. Provided I slay all the humans. And I am hungry. I'm real hungry. I could go for some dinner right now. But the spearrun is more important. I'm not sure. I'm a fan of mozzarella myself, dude. Just goes great on pizzas. And pizzas are great. I love them. Okay, now it is time, my friends. We're going to recruit God. And she's very cute looking. Well, first off, summer nerd. We want a paladin, Jich, the hero of the land. And next we want 31 grand, very expensive, plus the lucky room to recruit Rosa. Rosa is about a level 50 unit, and she's also a witch, but the difference with her and the witch I already have is she has a much higher capacity. She can equip much crazier equipment allotments, pardon the redundancy. And this involves the cast time reduction trinity, as I like to call it. Well, first off, Paolo for some delay reduction for witches, and then my girl Sophie. She's going to get benched now, pretty much. Sophie with the overdrive for boosting. Julia, and now the monster herself, Rosa. We're going to set up the broom I boosted earlier, the Rapid Rabbit, so for some fashion, you know, look cute. And the rest for cast time reduction. So, notice that before casting spells took me like 12 ticks maybe. With all the equipment I have on Rosa, I can cut down my cast time by about 75%, something insane like that. And now Rosa can just go ham on enemies pretty much. Full ham. Just for 5 ticks on the turn order, I can get about 400 damage on an enemy, which is unspoken of in this game. Like, to get this kind of damage, you have to do very convoluted setups like I was doing on early game. Like, set up boosts, set up beat positions, go target with ranged units, maybe put Ghibli on the way, and maybe use Ragnarok to soften up enemies. The difference with all of that and Rosa is that she just wins the game on her own due to the fact that she has a real fast time, easy time cutting down her spell casting and just spamming spells over and over and over and over again. And just in about 20 ticks we dealt about 1500 damage to the boss, so hey, that's the fastest we've ever been able to deal damage so far. For sure, for sure. Now, there is one drawback to spamming spells like this. Just like that one map where I intentionally set up max out my capacity on my witch just to cut down her HP. The same happens with when I spam spells like this, because I pretty much have max capacity and I am not supposed to spam like this. I am supposed to use other units to wait out the delay penalty. But I am just using Rosa to her full extent to keep working on the Cryo Cross. I need Rosa to learn a skill eventually, so I want her to spam spells as much as possible, for sure, for sure. Okay, another choice here. Rodriguez is like, yo dude, your father is bad, and like, no, my father was a good person, how dare you. That's the plot of the game right now. The plot dies quite a bit on mid-game. Also, I forgot to do something. I need to dismiss the nurse. We don't need you. We don't need you. Goodbye. We're about to reach another continent and finally recruiting the forces we will need to retake the western capital. Let's see what happens then. Alright, this map is going to be Natalia. Natalia is going to take over for us. Let's put Jich, my girl Natalia, and Julio. Let me just double check things here. Yeah, that should be great. Okay. So, for this map, I am going to do another funny knockback glitch. But I need to manipulate the enemies into moving on a trench, so to speak. You can already see where this is going. But I just got to be a little cautious with where I move and when I move. I have to scramble at some point. Is that good enough? No, I think I messed up. Hang on. Let's see what this guy does. Yeah, no, this is not going to work out. So see, well, my mistake here was not facing in the right direction, so that meant that the unit didn't move where it was supposed to, and that messed up the battle. Imagine being good at video games, dude. Alright, let's give that one more shot, shall we? Natalia and Julia. Like I said, the AI is very smart, so on that instance, facing the other way meant that the enemy had to get my back from another spot, and getting the back is better because it means that you get no guard rate if you do. So, the brute was just attempting that. Okay, let's make sure I get it right this time, that way. Just like that. Okay, so that is the spot I want because that forces the brute to move behind the other one. Now we scramble so that I can manipulate this witch. This witch is using a melee broom. Witches have a lot of picks, they're fun. Okay. Welcome to the slaughterhouse, my friend. Just in one more turn. Oh my, one more Shindeiru. 4 units for a single attack. And I also grabbed a rock. I didn't mean to do that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so with all those kills, I'm also going to loot the corpses of the witches. I needed to do this specifically so I could guarantee grabbing the aggressors. Aggressors are a late game piece of boosting gear. Their boosting action is increasing damage against the aces, so that means more damage against bosses. It's going to help. And now for the next brood, I'm just going to wait him out over here. Because I could attempt to, I don't know, maybe move him closer earlier, but I found that messes up with the battle, so we're just going to silently overclock until the brood decides to move around so he can face the same fate as his comrades. You just don't stand on the edge of a building like that, buddy. Not next to Natalia. Big mistake. Alright. So sometimes you don't need to deal damage in this game. You just have to brutally push enemies on top of one another. That's more efficient. Damage is boring. Okay, we're approaching endgame now. The tougher maps are coming up. I need this, the Sabbath, a couple army tights, this, and a force bracelet, so Giulio can cut down his cast time. Because cast time reduction also applies to things like Ragnarok. Any spell casting of any kind can get reduced cast time if you set your equipment properly. And this will help us cast Ragnarok quicker. Although I tend to avoid Ragnarok because it's RNG and annoying to deal with, so where possible we will have Rosa take it from here. Alright, for this map I want Natalia as an ace, because I want her to be closer. Due to the fact that she's one of the few units that can equip aggressors, so that will help with the Boskill. I want something Rosa, and then trainers. It doesn't matter who they are. Alright. Okay, we want you over here for some protection. Natalia to this style. I'm probably gonna be reading my notes more thoroughly now because I don't remember these maps too well. By this point though, I can make mistakes and still salvage the maps because the Caracross is so overpowering that I can afford to adjust my strategy. You still want to play fast, you know? Okay. Now. Nice to meet you, my friend. So just notice a stark comparison to the first time we were at Victory on a Stronghold. The first time I was here, I had to move all over the battlefield grabbing flags and go for an inaccurate boss kill with Elise. The difference here is immense, because I just approach the boss with all my units, just a couple of boosters for damage, and I can melt the boss. Let's see, why don't you move here instead? So this is going to be your bread and butter for the rest of the game. Boost Rosa for crazy damage. Look at that, 600 a pop. I need a stuns. Whenever you see an enemy get a stun, it means that they took quite a hefty hit. You're not supposed to deal this type of damage so quickly. But thanks to Rosa's capacity, we can afford to go for this type of strategy. By the way, leveling up in this game is not very important. Notice that I never grinded ever. All my equipment mastery happened naturally within the run. The reason for that is that leveling only does three things. It increases your HP, your resistance to status ailments, and it also increases your capacity. So that means you can equip heavier equipment and not get penalized as much for it. Okay. Just a little backup here, just in case. Oh, yeah, I highly encourage you to just go check back some of the games that already went by. There were a lot of real good lineups in this game. I unfortunately missed the Breath of Fire 3 run, but no, the ball is always there. Okay, we want Julio as an ace and deploy Valerie. Valerie is back, by the way. For some armor, because I need some defense. The aggressor, Valerie is another unit that can equip these, and army tights. Army tights boost your movement and jump by 1. Okay, next Rosa is fine, and my girl Hildegard. With the entirely ribbon that we used earlier for more tactics points as I move around. Okay. So, this is the tier down final victory on the stronghold map, and the difference here is that for once we have the tactical advantage on the territory. We're starting off on the fortress here, and the enemy is surrounded, and we can strike them from above. Makes things a little easier, you know. But it also means that we have access to all of these siege weapons around the fortress. Some ballistas, cannons that we can use to damage the enemies. Is that bad? Is that bad? Is that bad? I think it's fine, actually. I had to do something crazy here. Stand on top of this golem to disable it, and then tandem hold the other one, and then in a very cheeky fashion just cripple both golems at once. Let's see. I'm a little worried because I am a turn earlier than I should be, but we are fine theoretically. Okay, so Valerie is one of the few units that can employ cannons. Paolo can also use them, Tricksters also can. They have very limited availability, so they are kind of garbage on normal gameplay. But the cannons in particular can deal 25% of max HP, which is a chunk on a boss, for sure, for sure. And can also inflict the burn status and stun. So right here we are set up perfectly to actually use the cannons in a beneficial way. So hopefully I can get a burn here, that would be great, and no I didn't. Never lucky. Burn takes down enemy HP by percentages. It's based off of the target is max HP, so hang on, where are the skellies? Okay, you're on 10 ticks also, it should be fine. So if you inflict burn on a boss, it just deals like 100 damage every 4 turns or something insane like that. Pretty much burn and poison is one of the strongest ways that you could play this game casually. It just melts through bosses. And that's something I really like about this game. It makes the status elements useful, unlike many other RPGs where they aren't there and they can kinda help. But, oh no. Okay, don't turn me into a spooky, scary skeleton. Okay, perfect. I almost messed up on that. I was supposed to... who are you? You are that skeleton, so I don't want you close to me. But can you move close enough is a question. No, okay. I'm just making extra sure about what I am doing here because I messed up the initial strat. Yeah, with Freya's I can have Isabella held into place and keep spamming spells. Things like that. Where you at, bro? 9 ticks. That's good enough. Okay, one more. There she goes. We got a chrono drop. That's actually going to help in the next map, so I might as well set it. And we got our final War God. I have been silent about these new War Gods because they are bad. Like, one of them destroys equipment, but why do I care about that when I can just deal damage when I hurt her? That Angel War God restores HP to all targets, including enemies, so whatever. It's not something I like focusing on. Alright, making our way back to the western capital. That means we're going through the vast fissure again, and we're going to employ a very similar strat to the first time we went through. That means letting the witch get closer to the enemy and see how that goes. But the difference with this map is that there is about 16 enemy units on the other side of the cliff this time, so they came well prepared to take on my witch, but worry not, for I have Jesus. That's fine. Okay, first Hildegard. We need this. Next, Julio. We're going to use my boy Einherjar once again. Rosa, Liz, and Paolo with a charge bubble. The charge bubble is boosting effect is reducing delay if you use the character with it. Alright. Now, the witch's journey shall begin again. So similar to last time, I am going to move the witch closer but surely. And use scrambles to get more actions down the line. But this time I'm going to hide below this bridge right here, because notice there is that giant crystal. If you strike it, it gives you some gems for refinement. But I am actually going to sit here because it's a blind spot. And none of the enemies can target me here. Even though the enemy units have some... Is this fine? Yeah, this is fine. The enemies have... diagonal tech, so the gunners can strike diagonally, and they could, in theory, target my witch down the bridge, because that crystal is blocking the way. They cannot really do anything about it, so they just leave her alone for now. I have a limited amount of time until the gunners can actually attack me. This works. So it's looking like the Ragnarok is targeting my witch, but there is a bit of an awkward glitch in this game where if you have an enemy on top of you, literally, physically, like where is this instance where there is a thrower on top of my witch due to the bridge, any spell casting that happens will be redirected to the enemy that is further above on the Z-axis. So even though this Ragnarok was redirected initially to my witch, because the thrower stood on top of my witch, the Ragnarok is going to hit the thrower instead. So I don't have to worry about who the... where the Ragnarok is targeted. It looked like I hit my witch. Did I hit my witch? Oh no, it's a little weird sometimes. Oh, it's because the thrower got hit too. But I think I can still cast. Yeah, she didn't get interrupted. Yeah, it didn't matter. Don't... I said a bunch of garbage. Don't pay attention to me, I am crazy. Okay, so now with the Ragnarok, Conrad is reasonably low on health and I can kill him. This Boskill is very delicate because Conrad is one of those bosses that loves using his elixir. There is some bosses that are like at critical health and don't bother using the elixir unless they are on aggro range. But Conrad is not one of those bosses, he will use elixir at first chance, so I only have a limited amount of attempts for the Ragnarok before Conrad takes an action and decides to use elixir. Notice that he's 5 ticks away from an action. So a little bit tight. I have a backup in case I don't get the Ragnarok quickly, but with the stats I got down, it's not an issue, to be honest. Let's see. We should be good for this map, but there is no setup to perform. So we have finally penetrated the western border, pretty much. We are back at Golgotha Fort. I finally read the name. This game has an extra scene if you get the bad ending. It's kind of weird, but getting the bad ending actually gives you more content. So I am intentionally setting up my run to not get that extra scene because it's faster, you know? Rosa. And my girl Hildegard for some flag grabbing. Alright boys, let's capture the flag. Going to ignore this one for now though. So, because Hildegard generates so many tactics points, she's pretty much self-sustaining when it comes to moving around the field. She moves and she can scramble to keep moving around without actually advancing the turn order. In this map I cannot have decent delay reductions for Tamers and none of my aces can get that handily, but it doesn't matter because I still generate tactics points like crazy and can capitalize off of some scrambling here and there. Okay, that should be good. Okay, that's hitting Rosa. I want to avoid her. This is one of the kinder maps for Ragnarok. Usually it is cooperative. And Robertus, the boss, has about 4000 HP, so Ragnarok is mandatory. Even though I could have Rosa spamming spells right now, it could still take a while. This is not good. Boy, and Herker is in a bad mood today. Okay, but now that the cannons are targeting me, it should be easier to get the Ragnarok. The Ragnarok has a bit of a weight system where if you're doing poorly on the battle, see, now it will decide to help you out. And so because I took that hit and now the Ragnarok went after all the enemy units. Thank you so much. Whenever I do marathon runs, I usually get compliments for my accent. Not sure why is the case, but at least it helps with the commentary. Move closer. Yeah, move closer. And I swear I know what I am doing, occasionally. Right. Oh, something about this map, by the way, is that the cheese I am using to spellcast through the barrier is not supposed to be possible. Like, the terrain is set up specifically to be barely on the high tolerance range, because you can only cast spells so high. Like, if I try casting exactly where Robertus is standing, I wouldn't be able to target him because of the high tolerance. But I'm using the platform below him, so I can use that to hit him instead, because I can reach that within my high tolerance. So most of the maps are built specifically to avoid cheeses like this, but at least I got lucky enough with the enemy positioning and the platform having just the right amount of height to be able to pull this off. Yeah, look at that, 650 up pop, that is crazy damage. And we learned Enormitygram, that is a skill I wanted. Although I have it rather so that I can learn exactly on this last attack. But that is a trap that can inflict the scapegoat status. I guess I'll explain that now because I employ in the next map. Scapegoat is a status element that forces all damage to be redirected on the target of the status element. So say if you use an AoE tech, the units that got hit by the AoE won't receive damage, but all of the hits that would have happened otherwise get redirected to the unit that had that was afflicted with a scapegoat. So we're going to use that on this map because we're going to face a spellcaster called Regina. And by the way, this is the worst map in the game. This map is quite literally why I don't grind this game much, because in this map you either save a minute or you lose your run, or you lose a minute for no reason. And that's all because of our girl Regina. Regina is a mage character who is weird because she's very aggressive. Like, if you enter her aggro, she will start spellcasting, and I actually want to use that so that I can Valerie. I want to capitalize off of that behavior so that I can target her easier with my attacks by making her go closer. Also, remember Fravella, that assassin I destroyed like at the first 30 minutes of the game. She's back. She can also equip Aggressor, so she's a really good unit. At least I think so. Okay, this should be good. So, my friends, I'm going to need your prey RNGs for this map. Can go terribly so, or maybe it will go great and we can just move on. I don't know. Let's find out. Okay, so first step, go take a dip, wash a little bit, and for some good luck, and lay an enormity gram on this exact tile. So what I want to happen is Regina moving into this tile. I'm also putting Rosa here intentionally so that she gets targeted by other enemy units and make a little bit of a cluster for a scapegoat. Okay. Okay, perfect, that's what I want to happen. With a burn, that's not that great, but hey, we can make it work. Alright, so Regina, my girl, please move closer. Get hit with a scapegoat. You can do this. Come on. Come on, perfect. Okay, step 1 down. Step 2 down. Oh, baby, let's go. Alright, so with a scapegoat, I want you to just pay attention to the damage I will deal with Regina. To Regina. First, one good drowning wave on top of 4 enemies, but because of a scapegoat, those hits get redirected to Regina. That was 900 damage, maybe more, because I am not good at English and math rather. See, 9, and this is a really easy way to destroy her. One more drowning wave with the scapegoat status that will make a quick work of her. Nice. That is the ideal map. I cannot stress enough how poorly that can go if my pieces don't move into the right spots. Alright, almost there. Just 3 maps left to go. Here we're going to buy the best armor in the game, a Valkyrie. When you equip this, your movement and jump stat is increased by 1 each, which doesn't sound like much, but in conjunction with other movement boosting equipment, you can just pretty much run like a madman around the battlefield, which is exactly what's going to happen on this map. So, Valerie's back and she is the Force Ace because our boy Bacchus is back for some revenge, and he wants his pride is hurt after the skirmish we had with him back on Carroza prison. Okay, at least. Alright. So this is ladies only map. Let's go. Alright, because of the Valkyrie and the Amazon boots my timer has equipped, that she can just jump around like this. You should not be able to make these jumps normally. But with equipment, it's easy for her to go get some flags. Okay, we'll move you here. Yeah, we got lucky. That tech can hit the 5 tiles around them. Okay. Yeah, I'm really sorry about the UI. Like, this game was made for a portable system, so on a small screen, you know. But I swear this game is good. Please play this game. I love this game. You learn to ignore all of those things once you get used to the UI. Okay, I was trying to manipulate Bacchus into that tile to make the Boskill easier, so that's just perfect. Now we're going to sub out Hildegard with a max tactics points bar. Giulio can take over, just one more Ragnarok for the road. I'm sorry for missing that question on the chat, but yes, this game is made by the same development team that made Knights in the Nightmare, but strictly speaking, there is nothing related in the games. Some of the generics that you can recruit, they have the same names as Knights you could have in that game, but besides that, no, nothing else. It's a nice little reference, though. Is that good? No. I want to avoid Giulio and Fravella. Fravella is the assassin. That's hitting Giulio, so not good. Come on, give me this money. That's perfect. Enemies only, that's what I like to see. First Fravella a little closer? Yeah. Yep. Better known as the Parma Heaven. So like, if you like those games, you will fall in love with Gungnir. It's pretty much the same vibe. I haven't played Yggdra Union yet personally, but I enjoyed Riviera a lot. For sure. Okay, we want Yuri to take a little drop here. It's a little heavy, on the heavy side, so he takes some stun. And now with the power of boosting, I shall destroy Bacchus with a single attack. Boost! 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 The O's on the boost actually get extended whenever you boost it. I think it's a good detail. There we go. Okay, we are now facing one of the hardest maps in the game. Because of RNG, not because it's actually hard. I want another new broom and another Valkyrie because they are OP. The more the better. And we're going to improve our weaponry now. This greatsword for my paladin that I bought a long time ago. And the Wind of Eden. It's a broom that has mass AoE skill unlocked from the get-go. It's going to come in handy for the final map. Paolo, okay, thank you. I should say before doing alchemy, in case Paolo messed up his refinements. He's not doing... He's on a bad day. At least he's gotten me the exact equipment ranges I need. I could max out my equipment, but first off, that would be unlikely because the more you refine, the harder it gets to get better improvements. Sometimes going to 2% to get a max improvement. Of course, you could use save as comm to not have to deal with that, but it takes longer. Okay, Valkyrie for Valerie for more movement range, and finally. My good old paladin is going to make his grand entrance on this map. I want this for boosting and an Art of War. Also medicinal herb just in case we get damaged too much. Okay, Hildegard to run around all over the battlefield. Giulio for casting, Magarosa. And Sofin. Sofin is making a comeback now because I need another witch for sport. With that and the Chrono if I have it. I have the Chrono, let me use it. The Chrono is the best equipment to reduce cast time, so if I get the lucky drop from Isabelli, it comes in handy. But it's not particularly important. Okay, so Valerie is ace in the map, that means that I get a delay reduction on Tamers. And because I am generating 5 tactics points every time I move, that means that I can move around the battlefield without spending any turns. Because scrambling costs 2 tactics points plus the delay you want to get rid of. So I'm trying to get rid of 3 delay here per scramble, and that means it costs 5 tactics points per scramble. But Hildegard regenerates 5 tactics points every time she moves, so that means that it's free. Okay. I want something to work as a choke point here, so the gunners stay up there instead of trying to get closer. And now it's time for one last Ragnarok. This is a routing map, I have to slay every enemy. And the more I hit, the better. Is that good? No, it hits Rosa. I don't like that. I got a little greedy here. The earlier I get a Ragnarok, the better, but let's see if I can get luck here. This is worse, that's hitting everybody. Please, I heard her. That's also bad. I'll just take the next one I can. This hits Julia. Okay, this works. That avoids the important units. Look at all the nerds I need to kill. Oh, dude. In particular, I want the Ragnarok to avoid Valerie, because there is a legitimate fear of dying on this map. And if my ace falls in battle, it's an instant game over. Ooh. My apologies about the little dog barking. It's a small chihuahua my family got recently. She's very cute, but she tends to be loud. Sorry about that. She's just excited about the Ragnarok hitting well. Let's see. We want Rosa to go on this. That's about right. An instant KO on all the gunners. Let's go. Look at that power! And unfortunately, Julio is stunned. Don't like that one bit. Okay, this means that I have to get closer with Valerie, but it should be safe enough. Okay, where are the nairs? That's pretty good. Okay, so we are set up properly for the quick kill on this map. That means that I can boost Rosa for some quick drowning waves. And that's an insta-kill, the range of health that enemies are at. Except for the Witch, because they have equipment to bolster their magic defense. Which is natural, but annoying. So how many ticks do we have? We have 0 ticks, so this guy is going to move. You're going to move. Not good. I need to pull Rosa back. And I also want to get rid of this sorceress before she launches a mass AoE on my side of the field. Yeah, I spent too long casting the Ragnarok, which unfortunately means that I couldn't get a quick kill that I like. Let's see, why don't you get out of the way? Who are you targeting, by the way? All of my dudes is bad, everybody can tank that out. In theory. Okay, good. So, this is why I built Paladin, because of this amazing tech called the Divine Gale. It's a magic spell, so it means it's unblockable. And it gets me chaos where the Witch fails sometimes on this map. This map is very random, so having tools is very great. Even though normally I wouldn't have to use a Paladin. Okay, one running away for you. The Ace power up is unnecessary. You can block boosts from happening. You can select exactly how many boosts, which boosts you want to go off when performing an action. But I think it just wastes time to do that in this instance. Okay, tiny bit closer. Crossbows also have to deal with accuracy issues, so the sweet spot is within 1 and 2 tiles away from the enemy, unless you have equipment to boost your accuracy. You can equip a thing called the Snipe Finger, which boosts your accuracy by 60 points, which pretty much means you can hit whatever you want, especially with an archer. Okay, now we have entered the capital, and my brother Ragnus is going to face us in battle. Also, this map has by far the best soundtrack in the game. So I'm going to be a little quiet so you guys can enjoy it, but it's easily my favorite track. It's deserving of music orgasms, if you have played this game before. Ah, Julie. Alright. So the deal with this map is we got a couple aces, so to speak. There is Isabelle. Isabelle is a spooky necromancer that has been pestering us the entire game, by the way. But she's back and she summons the spoopy skeletons. And this is the first time where I really have to worry about the skeletons since they are very annoying. Skeletons insta-die to holy text, so there is some skills that can insta-kill skeletons. For example, the handy dandy broom that I have on Rosa right now, with this direct starlight tech, it also cleans skeletons, but when you kill a skeleton, they revive on the next time they get a turn. So in order to disable them, I am going to stand on top of the skeleton, and this is similar to when I disable golems by standing on them. That prevents the skeletons from reviving, so... no, this game is terrible for beginners, please don't play this game. If you are just starting out on strategy RPGs. This is a difficult game, for sure, for sure. Okay, I don't care about the conditions of the Ragnarok here, I just want to hit Ragnus, that is the only thing I care about. Because I can compensate for any other mishaps with... the targeting. Yeah, Ragnus has got about 4,800 health or something or other. And her will do me a favor and just chop most of that off. Alright. But now my witch is in position and ready. I need a witch to wake up from his nap, please. Okay. One last reason the skeletons are dangerous is they are holding rapiers, which have a knockback skill unlocked by default. And this can disrupt my positions and also prevent me from casting spells. If you knock back a unit as it is spell casting, you cancel the spell altogether. So something to watch out for. I mean, I am playing this on basic difficulty, and even then it is fairly challenging. Because I am rushing through the maps instead of playing them out as they should. Ranger boots, dude, that guy has such amazing equipment and he uses the most basic junk. Oh well. It's time, my friends, the final map. In this scene that I skip, Elise steals Isabelle away for all eternity. She's a spoopy necromancer. We don't like spoopy necromancers. Alright. So for this map, you know, as is a standard strategy RPG fashion, you usually battle an eldritch abomination to beat the game. But in this game, no, you just battle some guy in a wheelchair. That is not to say that he's a slouch, he's fairly dangerous. And the map itself is difficult as well. So when Jitch, Rosa... Valerie... Oh, this is who I am forgetting. My girl Rosa, my good girl Rosa. I was like a unit off from the setup, so I was real confused for a second. Okay. Alright, first off, I'm going to use that direct starlight tech as I was using in the previous map, because this also knocks back units, so I can use it for some pushing. Let's see. Soften full length. I know, right? The wheelchair doesn't mean they are weak. Not at all. Okay, so the boss is all the way on the top left of the map, and we have some insane high tolerance to deal with. In this map, you are not supposed to use spell casting to cheese the units on the upper levels of the castle. Okay, that's good. I want Ross back and running again. I'm doing this strategy a little bit out of order, but I hope it doesn't matter. You see, this route is not held by skill, but rather by sheer will. But I'm going to get rid of this other knight because they have knockback skills and they can mess me up if they approach me. So Rosa is making a very important job here, sacrificing herself for the greater good. 14 flags, is that good enough? No, I need one more. And Ragnarok. No, that's not hitting the boss. We need to actually hit the boss. So I am sort of sacrificing Rosa for the fact that I wanted the enemies to focus fire away from the units down here. Specifically the other witch, because she's really squishy and she would not be able to handle the damage. So by baiting the enemies into targeting Rosa, they get a greater delay on their actions and it's easier for me to handle them. Rosa, no! Oh, there's ramps everywhere, like it's built so that Siyad can move wherever he needs to. Which, you know, makes sense. As you can see the ramps because I am focusing on the part down here. But coincidentally, Siyad only has a jump stat of Guan, so he can all go through slopes, not slopes, edges. Also, funnily enough, his wheelchair means that he can block range damage if you target him from behind. And he's also totally invulnerable from damage if you attack him from behind, breaking some conventions in damage. Okay, we're gonna stand here so we can bait Siyad into attacking, so he stays close to us. Hopefully I got the setup right. I know I'm not being very confident here, but this map is somewhat permissive with mistakes. I'm not terribly concerned about the outcome. Okay, this should be good. Yep. I wait for Siyad to attack us so that we can slap him around once he sits in place. Okay, do not do that, please. I have some medicinal herb equipped on Jich in case we get a break there. Check if that's the correct tile. Yeah, looks pretty good. Let's get murdering. Boost! Now we need to get Fravella off the way, lest we risk her being destroyed as well. Hey, don't take my bunny ears, what are you doing? But this is why I spent resources on a second broom, so we could do that Rosa leaving the battlefield in a blaze of glory and still have a backup to the damage Siyad. So Dama's AoE tech hits the entire row it's targeted, regardless of height. So we can use the snipe Siyad from all the way down here. Show him my little friend, if you will. So one more. Boop. We did it! We beat the game. It's not time yet though, we have to go through the crates. Because I have to see if I selected the choices correctly to avoid an extra scene at the end of the game. Which is why this is part of the timing, but hey, we're done with the game, hopefully. Now we can reflect on our adventure. I hope you enjoy it. This game is real fun, for sure, for sure. I submitted to this marathon specifically in the hopes of spreading more awareness of this game, because it kind of died down in the PSP library, like most Steam games. I think that's why they are not producing games anymore, but whatever. There is so much you can do in this game in terms of gameplay. I only use like maybe 7 of the generics that you can use on the game. So there is a lot to do, for sure. No problem, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I know this game is not easy to digest with the UI and the speed up and the complex functions, but at least I appreciate being given the platform, you know? It was good fun, good fun. Okay, so I think we're fine, because right around here is where you get the extra scene if I mess up the critical choices. Basically, the scene is just escaping from the throne room because you are like, oh, Alisa, why did you betray us? How dare you? And you just leave. But because it's an extra scene, it means you actually, you know, have to play it out and it's slower. So now, we basically lost the war because we got, I mean, we just killed Siyad, who was pulling the strings, orchestrating the war and whatnot, but Robertus is still controlling everything. Alisa's on the throne, but it barely means anything. So things haven't changed much, you know. And here's the hug. Time! GG, my friends, it is done. Now, I'm kind of curious about what time I got. That would be good info to have. But yeah, I'm pretty much done here. If you guys want to take it over, I can just take my leave here. Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. Oh, we got barely the suit to 10. I'm glad about that. Yeah, thank you for having me. See you next time.